Magicka, the story of a bunch of colourfully robed wizards who often did more harm than good. It was an awkward, kind of buggy Diablo-style game that ended up being a bit of a surprise hit, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And now 4 years later, with a new developer, Magicka 2 is here. It's on consoles as well, but we reviewed it on PC, and once again, chaos ensued.
Yeah, eat rock.
What is that?
I'm gonna kite him this way, and you shoot his butt.
Stop electricity, stop it. B-Y-Y-Y at Nick. Oh, sorry.
Oh! That's hilarious.
Anyway, stop it.
Magicka 2 is set in a mythical Norse-inspired realm called Midgard. The land has mostly been at peace thanks to the Wizard Wars, killing off most of these clumsy robed warriors. But a prophecy speaks of a child who will have great powers and bring prosperity to the people.
But the prophecy also spoke of a shadow.
So the few remaining wizards set out to find the prophecy child before she is claimed by evildoers. You and your buddies are armed once again with an arcane elemental magic.
The essence of Magicka is centered around the tremendous joy in experimenting with various elemental combinations to see what the outcome will be.
Oh no!
And there are loads of different ways to use the combinations too. Stone creates projectiles, for example, but combined with other elements, you can do things like create fiery bombs.
Oh, sorry.
You're like, what have I done?
Or shield walls, or armor.
It's like a bunch of kids just got magical powers.
It's great.
Combining death magic with almost any element will create a deadly laser. Use lightning as your base and you'll get a conductive charge that'll bounce through multiple enemies.
You gotta
You can use single elements to create things like a simple flamethrower, or ice to freeze enemies in place to buy yourself some time. But it's always more fun trying out multiple elements at once just to see what you get.
Yeah, and the chaos of experimenting while in the middle of battle is quite stressful, isn't it?
Yeah, there's just so much going on.
Oh, I'm up.
And you're trying to heal, get a shield up, remember combinations of things.
What am I doing?
They're close to each other.
Bring me back, bring me back.
It's a mess, but a glorious kind of mess.
You monster! Oh, you pooed
Yeah, when you jump into this with friends, you need to set aside a good 15 minutes of just mucking around to see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
What does right do? Oh, big flames.
Yeah. Okay, so Badger, you just made a shield of what look like fire bombs.
With nearly every offensive spell, you can either self-cast to imbue your sword,
Ah, yeah. There we go.
Oh, nice move.
or do an AoE attack,
Yeah, that's
Nick,
great.
like this.
That's good stuff.
Like this.
Yeah.
or make a shield. On top of using it as a regular attack, there are endless possibilities for every combination. It just makes your head spin.
Yeah, and likewise, there are a few golden elemental rules to remember to save yourself from disaster as well.
You're wet, so don't use lightning.
For example, using the lightning element when your robes are wet, bad idea.
Oh, I just didn't take my own advice, and I electrocuted myself.
Actually, when we were playing, just using lightning at all was generally bad.
Casting a single fire on yourself will dry wet robes. Again, it's common sense, which is great. If you don't want to get wet or drown, you can freeze the ice and just walk across it.
Yeah, but then if you use a fire attack while crossing the ice, well,
Oh no, that melted. Yep.
Brings back.
No, then you're gonna melt it.
yeah, I remember keeping a notepad and a pen beside me when I was playing the first Magicka to try and keep track of all the cool spell combinations I was learning. And, you know, I'd still recommend doing that now because it's so easy to forget all of your discoveries on the go.
I see how it works.
But I think it's now also a little easier to visually keep track of spells with the way they've designed this new HUD.
I agree with that, but the HUD also frustrated me. Often the screen fixes you in a certain area so you're locked in combat and can't run away. But then we'd get backed into a corner and half the action would be taking place behind the HUD, which was infuriating.
Yeah, that was crazy annoying. I fell off so many ledges because of that.
Oh, what is happening?
Oh, shit.
No, I fell off the edge again. It's that hard. I can't see anything down there.
You can turn off other players' HUDs, which is good, but there's got to be a simpler way to show that information.
Yeah, or maybe just don't lock off the screen.
Another thing I was worried about with this sequel, especially since it's made by a different dev, was the game's signature brand of humor. In the first game, there were all these wonderfully nerdy references from things like Hitchhiker's Guide and Monty Python, but thankfully this is still very funny, isn't it?
Yeah, in 2 there's lots of game references and silliness. It absolutely captures the spirit of the series' nerdy, self-referential humour. The jokes are maybe a little less niche,
Social corner front wall?
but the whole thing is a much more polished experience. So I think they've done well to retain its heart while still modernising the look and feel.
There are a few additions that have fans of the series up in arms though, like the ability to perform quick casts of certain spells, like Haste, Revive,
Revive, you still got it.
something we like to call Rain of Fire,
Careful. Oh, sorry.
No! I did not want to come back to life to this fiery storm of death.
and a Force Push.
No, you killed me.
I love that force push so much. But yes, this is something that hasn't gone down that well with purists. But I think they've offset it by including a cooldown for quick cast and spells, and personally I think the game is better for it. Waiting for someone to have a revive spell active is tough, but fair.
I can't yet, I can't.
Yeah, it would be great if we actually used some of those offensive spells against the enemies instead of each other though, wouldn't it?
Don't even.
Don't do it.
You gotta charge it by holding the stick before you release it.
Yeah, right.
Just like that.
Yeah, just like that.
Floating in the water.
Teamwork.
There are some other changes to casting and movement, all designed to streamline play that I think work really well. And this game for me is still as chaotic as ever. Anything that makes this madness run a little smoother can only be a good thing in my book. On that, I'd recommend playing with a controller if you're playing on PC.
I'd also recommend not playing this solo. It's tough. And it really is designed to be played with friends, isn't it?
Yeah, death is frequent, and you really rely on the ability of your teammates to revive you. That said, once again, you may just want to find some better friends.
The main adventure campaign rocks along nicely, with Vlad, the definitely not a vampire, leading you through your journey. But there are also challenge modes to tackle if you're game, and lots of cool robes, skins, and staves to unlock as well, like this beautiful platypus outfit. Oh, that's nice.
What did you think of the sequel, Bajo?
I liked it. It's a maddening mess of multiplayer fun that never takes itself too seriously.
Oh, they're all getting wet. Someone electrocute them. Oh, yeah.
I do think this dev has played it pretty safe though, just streamlining and modernising aspects from the last game, and not really adding anything new or different.
Yeah, but I think that's okay for this sequel, because there is such a noticeable jump in quality, and yet it strives to retain much of what people loved with the original. I think any future games in this series would definitely need to bring something fresher to the table, but I had a great time with this. I'm giving it 3.
Yeah, there really is nothing out there quite like this. I'm giving it 2.5.
I'm dead. Next, can you revive? Run, run.
I'm frozen, I'm frozen.
No, no, no.
No! Oh!